Dawne Gee.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my goodness. This is a blessing.
Well,
This
it's a blessing for me too. Thank you.
Thank you. This is such an honor to be in your presence.
Thank you.
It really is. You
My nonprofit.
Yes.
So I was in LaGrange helping them feed, and you know people are hungry here, especially in Wave Country. 1 out of 5 children go to bed hungry. 1 out of 7 adults. Dare to Care started not long ago when the Ellis family, Bobby Ellis, died right down the street from here. So you're talking about a little boy, 9 years old, who dies on Thanksgiving Eve, died from hunger, not from flu, but not having food to put in his belly. He had 4 sisters. Those sisters were emaciated. The family was ashamed that they couldn't feed the family. And so they stopped sending the kids to school, so nobody saw those children begin to wither away. And people in the community came together, and one of the ministers asked, should we not dare to care? And that's honestly, how Dare to Care. So I've always helped Dare to Care, but I met a little boy who was pleased to be eating, but was also pleased that he could keep his stomach from hurting. And I'm sure his teacher knew, don't ask this child, And he said, I eat paper. And that rocked my world. And so we took care of what I was supposed to be doing. I went out in the parking lot and do what I do when I'm in trouble. I cried, I prayed, and then I called my mama. And my mom said, you get in there and do what you're supposed to be doing, get yourself together. But that boy stayed with me. Hunger stayed with me. My daughter and some of her teachers had boiled some deviled eggs boiled some eggs around Easter time. For some reason, school ended being out. So the teachers had all these eggs. And my daughter was like, I know you won't let them go to waste. If you come to the school, I'll give them to you. And I thought, okay, I'll give them to somebody. I'll go to a shelter, because I'm at a shelter all the time. And I was passing the Franciscan kitchen. I saw this guy digging in the trash, and he was eating, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And I pulled over and I said, hey, do you like eggs? And he looked at me like, and I said, I have boiled eggs. And he was like, really? And I said, yeah, would you like some? And he said, yes. And I showed him all the eggs. I had lots of eggs in the back of my car. And he said, can I have a whole dozen? I said, yeah, 2 dozen. So I gave it to him, and I thought he'd walk away, and he didn't. He sat right on the ground right there and began to eat those eggs. I haven't been hungry like that. My kids open the refrigerator and it is packed, and they go, there's nothing to eat in there. Yet we have people that are eating out of the trash can. I can't take that. I can't take that. And God puts nothing on your heart, or never puts you in a place where He's not telling you this is what your work should be. So it wasn't for me to call somebody else. I was supposed to be busy, but just sitting on my pew at church one day, I came up with the thought, a recipe to end hunger. In my family, when we're sad, we eat. Somebody pass away, we get together, we eat. When we celebrate, we eat. When we are bored and we have nothing to do, we say, hey, let's make pot chili, let's eat.
Exactly, eat right.
And so I know I'm blessed that way. And so I said, a recipe to end hunger. Because that's what I do, I cook. I show love through cooking. So I took my recipes, I bugged everybody in this newsroom, I bugged everybody at 32, everybody at 41, everybody at Channel 11. I called Muhammad Ali, I called Jennifer Lawrence, I called Dolly Parton, I called the folks at NBC, and that's Kathy Lee Gifford and Al Roker, and everybody, and they all sent me recipes. And I published them in a book. It's called The Recipe to End Hunger, and it's a #1 bestseller on Amazon. It's crazy. Yeah, so that's, that was the start of it. And March 22nd, we have an event at the Grand where we'll have 3 bands. We'll have a silent auction. That day we'll probably give away $50,000. We always try to give 50 on that day. You know, the LCCC, Louisville Central Community Center, called once, and they have a child care center there
Yes.
for early childhood education, and for some reason they lost some of their funding, so we wrote a check to them. You know, that's what we do. So we don't need to feed people. We've got nonprofits that do that well,
Right.
but they need the volunteers, they need the money, and that's what we do. So House of Ruth, their pantry went up empty. How does that happen? Right? Like, how does that happen? Why are we not supporting them and the families that are trying to live through HIV? So I just told my whole family, let's go. I need trucks, I need cars, and my nonprofit paid for all the food, and we went and filled the pantry back up. So that is my call. Food is a basic human right.
Yes.
So I try my best to raise money, volunteer, and do things like that just so that people have food. You know, because don't talk to me if I'm hungry. I'm not going to do nothing. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to be nice.
Right.
How can you expect for a child or for a person? We give money to Blessings in a Backpack. So that's what my nonprofit does. We work as much as we can every day to make sure people are fed. Yeah, that's what we do.
Nonprofit it's amazing you do those type of things, and I wonder that's your purpose. That's your calling.
I think I do the news, but even in doing the news, you know, a lot of the news is bad. So my job is to hopefully always keep everyone calm, always tell the truth, and always let you know. Well, oh, definitely my mother and my father. Definitely my mother and my father. Most definitely. My father is the one who made me believe in unicorns, and you know, when even today I'm 57 years old, and he says, hey, what's the matter? And you know, Daddy, was a tough day, or I had a tough story, or you know, one of the children that I volunteered with that had cancer passed, you know, and I'm really sad. He goes, let's go get ice cream. I'm 57 years old, but you think I don't go with my daddy and get ice cream? I do. You know, and so that's my dad. So my dad, you know, I tell him not to do this, but he still does it. He's the person that he sees somebody walking and he stops, you know, you need a ride. I'm like, Dad, don't do that. But that's my dad. So my dad always made sure that I knew that we're responsible for taking care of others, that you always help. And then my mom, that'd be Joanna. My mom showed me how to kick doors down and demand respect. My mom does not play. My mom gets it done, you know. I can remember when I had to walk to my grandparents' house, and this was when I went to Jesse Rodman Carter. I lived in Chively, but they drove me back to the West End to go to school, because she wanted me to go to school with, you know, kids that look like me and teachers that look like me. So they would drive me from Chively down to the West End to Jesse Rodman Carter, which was Virginia Avenue when I first started there. And but we had to walk home, and you know where that expressway is? And she was like, my baby's not walking across there. And she was like, why would you all want any child to walk through there? So she started a petition and talked to the, you know, mayor, governor, everybody. And that's why they have those high ramps there where people walk up on the skywalk.
Right there, the Shine Expressway.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because she said no child should be walking there. My baby will not walk across that street. So she got those built. But that's what I saw her do. You know, somebody treats somebody bad, you see my mama start walking, everybody goes, there she goes. So she taught me that end, you know, get it done. Integrity is about doing what's right, even when nobody's looking. You see something wrong, you are there for a reason. God put you in that place to make sure that so that's my mom. So not that my mom's not sweet, but she's more known for kicking a door down, and my dad's more known for when she kicks the door down, popping in and saying, hey, everybody, leave me. Do you remember Laura Bradshaw?
The name sounds
Yeah,
very
okay, so
familiar.
she was an African-American woman on TV. Is it Bradshaw? Do you hear that?
It sounds like
It does, doesn't it?
sounds like
So she was an African American woman on television, and I was at Virginia Avenue, and it was Halloween, and we were having a play about ghosts in a house. And so my first grade teacher had told me, everybody pick what ghost you want to be and you can learn the lines. I said, I'm not going to be a ghost. And she was like, well, you are, you know, don't make me have to call your mom.
Right.
You're going to participate in this. And
Mhm.
I said, I'm going to participate, but I will not pick a ghost. And she said, well, this is a play about ghosts. What do you think you're going to do if you're telling me you're not picking your lines? I said, I am going to be the reporter that tells everybody there are ghosts in this house. so they let me write my own part. And I can remember standing on that stage and saying, and I'm Laura Bradshaw,
Oh,
you know, because I saw her.
so was this the beginning of
6 years old.
6 years?
6 years old. And I can remember standing there and saying, they gave me a little mic and I was like, and I'm Laura Bradshaw. And I reported about the ghost in the house. And I think, you know, after that, I did a lot of things, but my friends even always told me, you always said you were going to be an anchor. And I don't remember that, but I do remember 6 years old telling them, I will not be a ghost. I'm going to let everybody know there are ghosts in that house right there. And that's what I did. They let me write that part of it.
Opened up a lot of doors.
I don't know that I did. I hope I did. I don't know.
As a black woman
Yeah.
in journalism and broadcasting, TV, has there been any challenges that you faced?
girl.
What are the obstacles?
Come on
You
now,
know,
you're an
I
African
know,
American
I
woman.
know.
What you talking
Yes,
about?
I know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, of
Yes.
course. For
Mhm.
most of my life, regardless of what I was doing,
Right.
generally the only woman, and generally the only brown face. And things are different. You know, I have had, especially male counterparts in my work life, act like, you know, women are not treated different, or of course you're treated different, you're
Right.
women. I can remember I had one guy who said, I'm, you know, tired of African Americans always saying, you know, what they don't get, and I looked at him and said, when the last time you've been black? Tell me that.
Right.
And that shut that up, you know, real fast. So of course I've had to struggle. When I came to WAVE, and I love WAVE, I intentionally applied to be here. This is where I knew I wanted to be. I applied to be here 9 times. 9 times. 9 times. They told me no. 9 times. Why did I want to be here? Because I'm community based. My mom is about community. My dad is about community. I want to do the news, but I must be involved in the community. That's who I am. That's how I was raised. And 9 times they told me no. And I thought, y'all don't know me.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You don't know me. And I just kept coming in and looking at what I had done. You know, did I miss something on here? Did I not do it right? And so finally they hired me. And the news director that was here at the time told me, you may want to get a more realistic dream, because we're not going to put you on the air. Okay. So number one, you'd have made the first mistake. You've hired me, so my toe is in the door. I just need a toe. And I thought to myself, well, you know, so what am I going to do? And they said, you're going to be a writer. So I was a writer in the marketing department. Okay. So I did my job. I did my job well. Made sure that I did everything I was supposed to do. Made sure that when I came in, I was dressed for the job I want. I want you to see me as a reporter. I might be marketing, but I need you to see, you know, what I can do. And then they had a Sunday morning program, and nobody wanted to do it because it was Sunday morning, 6 a.m. Everybody was like, I'm not doing no stupid Sunday morning, 6 a.m. I'll do it. Right. So I started doing that, and then somebody was like, people are watching the Sunday morning 6 a.m. show. And I was thinking, yeah, because I work hard. So we did that, and then they started a talk show. And they were like, we need somebody to host the talk show. And I was like, I'll do it. And they were like, we've already told you we're not putting you on the air. And I was like, I'm on the air. I'm on Sunday at 6 a.m. But my feelings were hurt. So they hired another woman. Well, she one day didn't come in and didn't call. And they were like, this show starts. We gotta have somebody out there. And everybody was like, I'm not going out there, because it was live. You didn't read a prompter. You just talked. I didn't talk all day. I talk in my sleep.
Right,
So,
I can relate.
I do. I talk in my sleep. And they were like, well, get out there. And I did it. And when I came in, the newsroom was like quiet, like, and everybody was looking at me like I had two heads. And the news director said, I didn't know you could do that. I knew. And so the next time she called in sick, they said, let Dawne do it. And I did it. It was great. I had the best time. And so then when it was time to renew her contract, they called me in. Said, is there any way we can have you sign a contract to do this television show? And my smart mouth, my mom always says, everything in your head does not need to come out of your mouth. And I was trying to remember that, because I wanted to say, no, remember, I'm the girl who you said that I was not cut out. I did not. I said, yes, I would be proud. And so that's when I started on the air officially here. And that was about 2.5 years after I got here. So I started doing that, and I did that, and then finally they came to me and they said, we want to make you one of our anchors, one of our main anchors. And boy, I can't even tell you, and even then it was tough. There were some people who were mad, you know, some folks who didn't think, you don't deserve that yet. But that's okay, that's anywhere. And you just keep working, and you be respectful, and you do your job, and now nobody thinks about that. Now I'm like the longest running, you know, person still here on the air. So you just, you know, things are not always gonna be easy, but you have faith. Faith doesn't make things easy, it makes it possible, so.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
And I'm a true testimony of
Yeah,
that. And
that's
I agree.
right.
Yes.
Right, you keep that faith.
Yes.
That's what my ring says. My little ring says faith. And when I'm having a hard day, if you ever see me doing that, I'm just reminding myself, have faith. It ain't supposed to be easy, but it is possible.
Yes, it is. Speaking of some shows, but there's one that you particularly do all the time. Pass it forward.
Pass the cash.
Pass the cash.
Pass the cash. That's the cash.
There's been many times where I'm sitting there and I'm like,
oh yeah, me
I'm
too.
crying.
Pass the cash is that I'll never let go. You never really know how desperate someone is or how much trouble they're going through. We were in Portland and somebody stopped me and said, you know, I had my sign up at the time, help me pass the cash. And they said, you know, there's a girl, she just had a baby and she knocked on our door last night and said she was gonna pass out because she was hungry. And she didn't have any food, and she's got this 3-day-old baby, and you know, she said she didn't have much, and we gave her a plate and she went back home, and they said, we'd like to pass the cash to her, and I said, sure. They were like, she has nothing. Well, I'm thinking nothing as in, I don't know, like she doesn't have a big color TV maybe or something like that. So give them the money, and then we follow them, which is what we do, to pass the cash. And so we get to the young lady's house and we knock on the door, and she opens the door and she has this new baby. So the lady tells her, we're here to pass the cash, you know, whole thing, and she counts it out to her, and the girl starts crying, and she says, my family has disowned me because I decided to have this baby. The father is gone, and she said, it's just me and Chase. And she said, I never should have had him. I can't take care of him. She takes the baby, she gives him to me. You take him. So I'm like sobbing. I look at my photographer and I said, we need to shut this down. What do I do? I call my mama, because that's what I do. Seriously, when I'm in a conundrum, I call my mom and I'm crying. So my mama wants to know why her baby is crying. And she's like, where are you? And I tell her, not far from where we live. It was in South Louisville. My mom and dad come in, I swear to you, on 2 wheels. My mom hobbles up that stairs and she's like, what's going on? I take the baby. I give the baby to her and explain she's decided she should have aborted her baby. My mom takes the baby and the girl. They go in the back and they talk. To this day, I don't know what they said. My mom comes back out, looks at my dad, says, you need to take us down to Walmart. We went down to Walmart. My mom and I went shopping for this girl, bought her as much as we possibly could. So we're in the line at Walmart. You have to understand, my mother is an educator. She's a principal. And my mom goes, oh my God. And I'm like, what? Because we got everything. We got enough milk where this child is probably still drinking milk today, and that was 10 years ago. And I'm like, what? And my mom takes off, and I'm like, what? So it's our turn. My mom's not back yet. And I'm like, where did she go? So she comes running with a book. He doesn't have a book. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And she says, this is how we're going to get Chase where he needs to be. He needs a book. Education is always the key. She said, and I said, Mommy, he can't read it. She said, he's got a mama. His mama's going to read to him. And then when he's old enough, he's going to read this same book to his mama. So we took everything there, gave it to her. I told the story. I do it on Wednesday. By that Saturday, churches had table, kitchen table, microwave, dishes, a couch, a TV. That little boy's nursery was finer than any of my 3 children as a single mama had. Her bedroom was filled, and she and I are friends to this day. Every Christmas I take those, she's got a little girl now, I take those babies something to this day. That's what I'll never
I'm just gonna forget all these questions.
Sure.
But Dawne, you are a gift.
But see,
To
what you just said,
everyone.
you just said you saw yourself
I
in
see
me. So you know
yes.
what? So that means you're a
Yes.
gift too.
Yes.
That means you're a gift too. That's what that means. You see yourself in me. So you too are a gift. Are you using your gift?
Yes.
Are you, or then there you go. You are doing what you're supposed to do. So now what we gotta do is get the next person to see themselves in us and get them busy. If we were all busy doing what our heart tells us to do, because we can turn our heart and get busy with something else. I don't need to help that person. I'm too busy. I got problems of my own. Yeah, you see yourself.